And welcome. We are back. We're going to be talking about episode 4. This is episode 3. It's all wonky, but that's okay. If you like wonky stuff, check us out tomorrow for TARDIS Talk. But tonight we're talking Daredevil Born Again. We are minus some of our regular scheduled content creators. Shay, Sarah, and Tony Ann are either in engagement, out of town, or not feeling well, and so hopefully we will see some or all of them in the weeks to come. But with me, we're going to go ahead and go clockwise. So if we don't know how that works, because sometimes we get a little bit confused, that means from my position, it's going to go Johnny, David, and then Juan. And then hopefully Will may join us at some point down the road. But whether or not, go ahead and introduce yourself. Start us off, Johnny.
Hello, everyone. I am the Marvelous Johnny. You guys can find me on my TikTok primarily. I am still working on getting stuff out for my YouTube, but do follow me there. And I guess Instagram, because I could not just stay away.
I am Xenatos1138 on all socials. Again, mostly TikTok, but I am everywhere. I would love to start Twitch streaming again someday, but it's just a procrastination process. But yeah, that's it. That's me. Yeah, I should just do it.
Let's do it.
I've been wanting to as well, actually.
And I'm Juan Reads Comics. You can find me on Juan Reads Comics on all social media. And I read comics.
Okay. And of course, you know me. My name is Tony. I kind of keep the refereeing of this wild and crazy thing that we're doing here on It's FanBox. But more than that, I'm Mr. Marvelite on social media. You can find me there. But more importantly than that, just check out itsfanbox.com. Check out the YouTube channel, YouTube.com/@itsfanbox. And you can find us at It's FanBox pretty much everywhere. It's easy to figure out, very hard to confuse. And we are just talking and having fun with the things that we love. And so if you like talking about fandoms or reading about fandoms or different things like that, check us out. Not only do we do this show, but we will also be doing our regularly scheduled Doctor Who TARDIS Talk show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, or as Johnny likes to say, Hollywood time. And then on Friday this week, we are having our fandoms episode at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Pacific. Math, it's fun. And we're actually going to be letting the girls kind of take control and run rampant and kind of as a fandoms International Women's Month, like hurrah. So Will and I are going to try to keep our mouths shut, which is very hard for us to do. And we're going to let them run the dialogue, which will be absolutely fun.
Please tell me the background you have ready for that is that scene from Deadpool 1, though, for International Women's Month. Do you know what I'm talking about, Tony?
Do you want me to get the show banned? Like, really?
It's Marvel related. We're still on topic, technically.
I know that. But if I'm looking forward to trying to get some more people to be involved in it. But regardless, it should be a lot of fun. But we're here to talk about Daredevil Born Again, specifically the episode called Semper Systema, and this is following after the events that take place with Hector Ayala's trial and release and ending. And so let's go ahead and just get into it. Let's get some initial thoughts about the episode. Juan, why don't you go and start us? We'll go the opposite direction.
Okay. I really love this episode, actually. I thought it was going to give us more of what was going on in the last episode. But because we all wanted to know what was going on with the whole Punisher suit and shooting of Hector Ayala, and we really didn't get all of that answered to us right off the bat. I mean, we kind of got a little bit of that when what happened, but whatever. But I did like what happened and what unfolded in this episode, which continues to perpetuate the story that's going on. So I kind of liked it. I didn't like it. So in the middle, I'm kind of like a roller coaster ride.
Sure.
Okay.
David?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of like, it was interesting but slow, and you did get some questions. What?
Hold on a second.
Hey!
Okay.
Hey, there he is.
He hasn't melted the mask yet.
Daredevil himself.
I'm getting so close, man, because Look, back in the 80s, there was this movie called Bachelor Party, and there's one particular scene where they say, you know, I like a little more filth in my filthy movies. I really like a lot more Daredevil in my Daredevil show, okay?
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, remember this. We got through the Netflix season 3. We can get through this.
Yes.
Tony,
Just remember that.
last time I was on, I said it. I'm going to say it again. I've already seen the story of this guy getting into the costume.
Yeah. I have the exact same feelings.
But anyway, please, let's go
Yeah.
back to the regular rotation. Hi, everybody. Will Wilkins from everything that's that Will Wilkins, whatever. Let's move on.
All right.
I also can't see anything in this mask. Nothing.
Don't have glasses, or
And
is
if-
it
and if-
because the lenses are that red?
And if you can't
It's-
see
it's-
it because
it's-
how
everything
small
is
it is,
red.
hold on. Let's see. Can I? No, I can't do it. I was gonna see if I could zoom in on just you, but this system sucks. Okay, David, go ahead. Your thoughts.
No, that also brings me to a thought. I ordered a
here we go.
Daredevil mask from Etsy, and I feel like I'm probably going to get it before Daredevil puts the mask back on.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Listen, we're gonna
Um,
get GTA 6 before we get Daredevil.
Yeah. they
I
at
am-
least-
I am not kidding. There are 2 pieces of content I want to make in this mask that's just going to be waiting for Daredevil in Daredevil Born Again. I've already got them dialed in.
You can use that holiday photo of Charlie Cox just sitting there in his Daredevil mask with a full beard, just sitting there chilling by a fireplace waiting.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
use that one.
Yeah.
All right,
what
Dave,
if-
we've
what if-
interrupted you way too much.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. I liked the. Hold on. The conversation between Frank and Matt is probably like, it might be recency bias, but I feel like that's like top 3 conversations in the MCU. Like just the back and forth between them. They gave us a little tease with all the Daredevil masks. You see the parallels between Fisk and Matt still like trying to fight their natural instincts, and then we get to see what happened to Adam. Just they gave us teases and little things. I would have appreciated a more direct answer when Frank's like, yeah, that wasn't me, that was some imitator. It's like, okay, who did that? Like, give us a clearer answer than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, David, I'll just let you know, by the way, right now, after I see how the silver and the gold mask variants come out, you won't have to get one on Etsy. Okay, buddy?
Okay.
Will, let me know how much it'll cost to buy one off you. I will.
Dude, you're my friend, and Tony will tell you I never ship anything, but I promise you I'll send it
Yeah.
for free.
All the way
Yeah.
to Canada. You sure about that?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, if Canada will let an American send anything, you
You're
know?
allowed to send things. You're allowed to send things in. It's just gonna cost me to accept it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put a $1 value on it and indicate it's a gift.
Okay, so that can work. That can work.
There we go.
All right, Johnny, your thoughts.
Okay, so I'm
You
gonna
got
be
different. You got differing thoughts here. Yeah, go for it.
This is not a good start for my first appearance on the show, but I did not like this episode really. I will say
Oh,
the
don't worry,
best.
man, I
There's
got your
2
back.
things that I must admire about the show, and this is going to be spoilers immediately off the bat. One, though, I feel bad for Fisk. Just they made me feel bad for him having to sit through the children singing, which is fine. I like
Okay.
children. I don't hate children or anything, but they were so off tone. They weren't in sync. I know they're children. That's the point. It's intentional. I
And
get
in
it.
no way,
And then Latvia.
in no way, yeah, man.
Latvian.
I panicked so fast because I'm like, wait, no, Latvia is not Latveria. Will, calm down. But Johnny, I
A lot
also
of people
got to.
thought that.
Yeah, I also got to tell you though that that scene stood out for me too, and honestly speaking, Fisk looked like how, not to get political, but how a certain U.S. president right now looks whenever he is sitting in on any of those foreign, dignitary visits. But please,
I was
Or
fully waiting
when he's
for one of
asked to
those
read a
kids.
letter.
Or
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Or I was fully waiting for one of the kids to whisper in his ear, going, "You're trash. Shut your mouth."
Yeah, exactly. Bring it, little boy. Bring it, please. Anyway,
I fully expected him to actually just lose it at some point, though, but he did kind of lose it. Just like, no, that's fine. We saw Kingston panic for the first time.
That was the best part. Like, I actually felt bad for Fisk in that moment. Like, okay, yeah, no, I would do the same thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And they have to hear the exact same song again in Latvian.
Going back to the comparisons, at least Fisk can read.
Yes, at least Fisk can read. True. And honestly, he's somehow less corrupt than the actual New York mayor at the moment.
Yeah, go figure.
Just saying.
Actually, that's a low bar. Let's just go. So, are you done, Johnny? So I can give my thoughts. You still have more.
Well, I do have one last thing.
Okay.
I like how we are normalizing things like name dropping Bullseye in a very fairly serious conversation between two characters, and just not having some silly comment going like, "Oh, they call him Bullseye," some stupid ass moniker. I hate that stuff. I'm glad we have strayed away from that stuff since. But
yeah,
that is all.
Yeah. So I think that's that. See, and that's the thing. We're gonna get more of that because even though the Netflix series has been part of MCU canon, and a lot of us have already believed that, this is just they don't have to play that game. Loeb is out. We're doing this the way Marvel Television, Marvel Studios wants to do it. So we're gonna get more
actual Asian character stories because no Jeff Loeb.
I'll know. Remember how they were saying Shang-Chi was an experiment at one time?
Oh my god! Fucking.
I don't think Loeb had anything to do with that, but we're gonna go.
You know what? No. I'll say this though. At least you guys will get Daredevil in the suit again before I get a Shang-Chi sequel.
I hope. Yeah.
We hope.
I think you guys will. Don't worry.
But regardless, okay. So I want to go back. I will say this: Wilson Fisk is probably one of my most favorite villains in like comic book history, because as bad as he is and as terrible as he is, there's something about him that's most likable. You love it when a hero goes against him. You love it when Spider-Man goes after him. You love it when Daredevil goes after him. He's enjoyable, and so giving him those levity moments where they're like, and for our next number, nope, that's okay, nope, not enough. Beautiful voices, like that was perfect, and seeing him twitching. Where he just wants to like crawl out of his skin because and I'll be honest with you, I wanted to, but for licensing reasons, I wanted to play We Built This City as the intro for this episode for us talking. But of course, in
Latvian or Sung by Children or like
either one would have been hilarious.
The fact that both
all three playing at the same time simultaneously. That's how you do it.
No, that's how the CIA tortures people. Like, we're not going to go that way.
Dude, they use Baby Shark to do that.
Or Britney Spears. It's usually Britney Spears.
I don't mind that.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this. I did love the Frank Castle, Matt Murdock engagement. And I think it was because a lot of times with Punisher, there's a lot of misunderstanding. And we get this in the show where Frank is just killing bad guys and doing this stuff. And it's more of him trying to keep his family alive in some manner. And feeling like it's like the voices, it's like the demons in your head, but it's your dead family, and he's trying to keep them alive and trying to keep that spirit because it's the only thing he can do from breaking down. And you can see him in this episode. He's not a well man, and he's struggling. The problem is he's better put together than Matt is, even though Matt thinks he's he can apologize and that it's not about Foggy. I mean, that engagement where he's forcing him, and to then correlate that to him when he goes home, he goes up on the roof and he pulls out the baton. It's almost as if there's a piece of Matt that healed after talking to Frank. But my favorite part of the entire episode is when we found out what was happening to Adam, and him down in his, and you see him walk past the painting that we hadn't seen for 7 years, and we see him sit down and he's eating his little, which was a harder meal because it was like a risotto or something, and like it was
good
more
attention to
food
details there, and he had his red wine.
Yeah, and he's sitting there with this guy, and even the engagement between him and Vanessa, you can see that there's a little more give and take between the two of them. So a lot of development. Let's face it, it's not what we wanted. We wanted him at the suit at the end, but I see a lot of progression, and of course that little tease for our next masked villain, Muse, is actually exciting in my mind. So yeah,
Okay,
that's my thoughts.
so as someone who read the Charles Soules run as it was coming out, I the biggest thing about Muse right now that's bothering me is like he doesn't have those red dot eyes. He still has regular eyes. For me, part of the appeal of the character was the darkness, just the singular red dots, the absolute void of humanity for that character.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I
And
was like, you guys can CG on the eyes. You guys do Spider-Man now. Come on.
in terms of Muse, Matt's girlfriend is in trouble because that is the same guy that asked if she's taking in new patients.
That would
They're
make
both-
that would make sense. I'm just a little disappointed if they actually did show us who he is, because I think to date we don't know who Muse is. In the
We
comics.
see Muse take off his mask, but it's just a white face, sunken eyes, even without the mask, and just bald. So yeah.
Yeah,
But we
it-
also still no idea who he is, and that's
Well,
not
here's the thing: we
important.
don't even know if he's Inhuman or not. And knowing the MCU, they're not going to touch the Inhumans with a 10-foot pole.
No.
Yeah, it could be either or. It could be that guy first asking if he's taking new patients, or it could be Fisk's right hand man. I mean, kind of disguising as like the person, because I mean that would be good. That would be good cinematography, or a good like film, or a good like way to make a movie or a TV show. It's like like the Shell game. It's what they're showing you is what is going on, but over here, this is what's really going on. So I kind of feel like Fisk has like a little hand in it, as well. So
I did pitch to one of my friends that maybe Matthew Lillard's character, whoever he is going to be Muse in season 2, and like we just never like the Muse stuff isn't properly resolved, because like even in the original Charles Soules run, like Muse comes back for another volume. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, and whether he's going to be Inhuman or not in the MCU, you could say that their lips are sealed. So they're not going to tell.
Nice
us.
multiverse
I am
of
going to
madness.
take away your pun card and beat you with it.
You can't listen.
Not if he
just
moves to
telling you this
Canada.
now, man. Look, if I may give my thoughts about the episode, even though I arrived quite rudely late, but again, I have
Oh yeah.
children, so these things happen.
Go-
I know you have kids
for it.
too, Tony, but back off, man. Look, here's the thing. I understand the purpose of this episode. I understand why it's there. It is one of those ones that I just call a movement episode. It solely exists to get us to the next point. I really have to wonder if the Frank Castle stuff, the Punisher stuff, was one of the things that was picked up in the reshoots, because that scene is only earned because of the reshoots from the first episode. Because if we came into this show cold the way we were, the way they originally intended, right? I don't think Matt has walked away from being Daredevil as much from having betrayed his code principle of actually trying to kill somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I understand. I don't know that scene is as well earned if that didn't exist. But I saw everything that they threw in. The absurdity of the crime that the person's being punished for. The almost jovial exchange about this guy's fate that occurs between he and the assistant DA. Right. And then having to be confronted with the absurdity of everything. And, once again, that affirmation for Matt that the system as it is doesn't work. Justice is not just. And so I get that. And that's the reason why, he was Daredevil. But even though we saw what we saw, I'm telling you right now, we're going to see this guy with a scarf on his head or somebody's shirt wrapped around his head before we're going to see him in the costume.
Or the bank scene where he has a red pullover mask and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's we're still not going to. And you know what? Enough's enough, guys. I know.
will say this.
Go ahead.
We're supposed to get 2 episodes next week, so
Yeah.
So
Oh,
also,
okay.
I thought Johnny was going to be chomping on the bit with this, but with it regards to Frank Castle in this show, originally John Bernthal did not want to be in it because he
Yeah.
did not like
Sure.
the way that they wrote him. And it wasn't until the rewrites that he like signed on to be a part of this.
There you go.
So yeah, I think it was definitely, it's one of those things where I think John Bernthal not accepting the role or not wanting to do it the way it was written benefited us. And I think that's where you have these people that are huge fans. And it's like, if we don't get more Karen Page, I love that actress and I want more of her, especially after finding out she was a huge D&D fan. Like, by all means, like I want more of these. I want more actors who love their characters to be petitioning and advocating for better stories for their characters. So
that's the funny thing, because like we know episodes 2 and 3 were more from the original version of the show, and personally for me, I love those 2 episodes more than I do the first one or this one with all the changes. That might be because of them still being restricted by trying to shift the narrative and everything, but so far, at least for me, like I love the Hector Ayala trial stuff, and I do wish maybe not the full 4 episodes that everyone's reporting, but like, you know, make that a 2 or 3-parter, kind of like the Punisher story in the first part of season 2, because we all commend that Punisher arc that we had in season 2, and a lot of people like to then later on crap on the Elektra stuff, right? So if we had some kind of praise like that for the White Tiger arc, I think it could have worked. But
I just think it's interesting to see the way this is played out for everybody, because I have to tell you, for me, the entire Frank Castle scene was really, I don't want to say pointless, but while I was watching it in the moment, I didn't really see the purpose of it, because we all know that the minute he found that symbol on the casing, that he didn't think Frank did it.
yeah.
Okay. But I will say the one thing that I did love that we have not really gotten much of, aside from when Fisk wins and people are celebrating and he quickly moves his girlfriend out of the way and then says, "Oh, sorry, I must have fell," because, you know, it's like, how could a blind guy know this? I do love the immediacy that once he is out of public eyes, the cane is just folded and he's just walking down hallways.
Yep.
And I also did appreciate the way that he found the casing. You know, so a bottle rolls downhill. Where did it go? And he finds it. I liked that, but like the whole Frank Castle scene, I didn't connect with it. I wanted to, believe me, I wanted to, but
I'm
I
100% with you.
Yeah.
And
no, I will say this: Hector Ayala's niece, like whole, like if we,
that was good.
That was Marvel saying, "You're getting White Tiger again. Don't worry, she's coming."
Just in the
like,
Avengers.
I'm like, yes, please. You know, so just being able to kind of see that they were going that route. I mean, if we couldn't have, you know, Hector Ayala be the White Tiger longer, you know, being able to take that mantle on with his niece, I'm super excited about that.
I mean, at least they killed up. Sorry, one.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
They killed off the character real quick though, and it's not like a Chadwick Boseman Black Panther issue.
Well, it kind of is though. The actor has passed, so
yeah.
Regrettably,
but I mean, he was already passed in
the show too. Yeah. But what do you got, man?
So I think that whole scene with Matt Murdock finding the bullet and then going to Frank Castle is all the battle that Matt Murdock is having within himself to either put the horns back on or continue to fight justice the way he's doing as an attorney. And he's perpetuating the sense of really feeling, is he going to continue doing this the way he's going, the route that he's going, or is he going to put the horns on? And I think he went to Frank Castle to kind of get permission, because he said, because he's asking, he said permission a couple times, and I think he's really asking Frank Castle. He's like, "Can I put the fucking horns back on?" And I think that's what he was asking, because he's a small snowball turning into an avalanche. And like I said in one of my videos, like we have 2 characters that are spiraling out of control, and those 2 characters is Matt Murdock and Kingpin and Fisk, because they're both doing something out of their norm that now they're starting to perpetuate this like oh, let me eat again. And we come back to that scene at the end of the show where he's actually eating a full meal, like a real meal. He wants to actually eat. He wants to eat. He wants to be Kingpin again. So
Oh, really? I see.
Yeah.
I just, honestly speaking, I thought that was just him being an absolute dick, eating a giant meal in front of the guy in front of Adam in the cage, who can't eat anything. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, I think that's the same. I guess, yeah, you can say that as well. But at the same time, he wants to eat. He wants to eat something good, because in the past couple episodes, we've seen him eat nothing but like carrots and whatever,
Egg
you know,
whites and asparagus for breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. So now he's in his element. He's in a point where he can be who he actually is outside of being Mayor Fisk, and he's showing who his real colors are. And his real colors is this dark dungeon and holding someone hostage and eating frivolously the way he is, and knowing that it's going to end up, he's going to finish that plate. And when he finishes that plate, he is going to be the Kingpin that we always know. So I really feel like that Matt Murdock is really asking Frank Castle. He's like, can I be this person again? And yeah, go ahead.
No, please finish your thought. I don't mean to be rude.
No. I think he's really asking that, and like, hey, you know, can I be this person? And Frank Castle is basically saying, he's like, you're there. You are that person already. You and me are the same person in one. We just do things differently. And he's basically giving him the absolution of doing what he wants to do. And like I said in the last episode of the podcast, is like, he needs two people. And I think Tony, you said this. There's two people that he's missing throughout this season so far. Is he's missing his priest that he always goes through for absolution, or through like things that he needs to spot off to the father. Father is no longer here. And he always has that police officer within the New York Police Department that he can go to find out the nitty gritty about like the things that he's trying to find out and solve. So now I think he's going to he has his police officer, which is going to be Frank Castle. Now we need to just find his priest, that he can have that balance within justice and his religion. So who is going to be his other half of being his religion, so he continue to be Daredevil? I don't think we're going to get the mask and the horns real soon. I think once we find out who his religion part is, or who he can, get all that off of his chest, then I think that's when we're going to see the horns come back on.
You know what? Now that you bring it up, actually, I think Frank Castle in this case was his priest, if you will, not the police officer.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you've enlightened me to that, but you are correct too, that this episode also at the end reveals to us that which was hinted during what I affectionately call the heat scene, while while Fisk and Murdock are having dinner or a meal at the diner. Because, like, realistically speaking, they're all talking about how they're changed people. They believe in the system. They're trying to do good. But it ends on the comment of like, I'll be watching you. And the other says, and if you, I've got a no vigilantes policy, and I'll do what it takes. So, this kind of was both of them accepting their true selves again by the end. So. But yeah, I think now that you point that out to me, I really feel that is more of his, that's kind of his confessional scene where, because he probably doesn't feel, Murdock doesn't probably feel that he's worthy to even find a new priest to speak to about things after having, straight up Chuck Bullseye off the roof, which I still love. Oh my God.
That's still one of my favorite parts of that first episode.
It's just like, I got one rule, but you just killed my best friend.
Yeah. Just one of the things that I've noticed from this show, we had this concept of in the original Netflix series, him doing right. There's a little bit of a penance, or there's a religious reason for him doing what he's doing. This show is very specific, showing that the system is broken. I mean, think about this episode's name, Semper Systema. There's a whole focus on things not working the way that they do. And we see this with what happened to Hector. We see this with the guy that he's trying to get probation for. That, oh yeah, that's great. He gets him 10 days, in jail, and then he's going to get released. But in those 10 days, he could lose his SSI. He could lose this or that or whatever it was. And the system is not doing justice because the guy stole because he's stuck because of the system that he's stuck in a cycle for. Frank brings to the concept of, there wouldn't be a need for him or for Matt to don the suit if it weren't for the fact that, Bullseye's breathing and having 3 square meals. What's going on with Foggy? Like that concept is showing that, the system doesn't work. And we know in real life, the system doesn't work. It's disproportionate. It oppresses, it makes things difficult. And yes, these media reflect reality in a way that it's sending that message. And Marvel, this is how it is. But I really feel like we're going to get a Matt Murdock who realizes there's only so much you can do within the law. And he realizes that Daredevil has to exist because there is that gray area, and he has to be in that gray area in the meantime.
Even the system not working for Kingpin, because he wants to build up all this real estate. And there's like, no, there's a bunch of red tape you have to go through first. People have to approve this. You have to, it's like, but I promised that they would, that I would have real change. It's like, well, yeah, but that's not how it works. You got to get
and way to go, BB, for screwing him over.
Okay, so very quickly, I'm actually getting annoyed with the BB stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Like it's a little off-putting. It kind of pulls you out of it, but it gives you an idea of like because this is the thing. This is a gauge of the temperature of the city and what's going on, because we've never had either one of these characters in more of a political limelight. And so we're getting to see a side of the MCU that we haven't seen before, but it's all leading up to BB royally screwing Kingpin over, and we're almost there. So
it was very Sam Raimi Spider-Man, when like a bunch of people around the city are asking about Spider-Man or being asked about.
That's why Spider-Man. I don't like it. I think because I didn't like either in those movies.
Until we get somebody in the subway going, Daredevil.
No, thank you. I mean, with the closest we get to something like that is him playing on the piano in Defenders, and he's playing the Defenders theme.
Yeah.
I forgot about this part though, but this is actually a part that I forgot to commend. It's Matt talking to the cop, the corrupt one with the Punisher tattoo.
Oh,
okay.
I love how snarky he is. He'd be like, yeah, but it's like next time you're gonna need more guys, probably.
You and I both know you're gonna need to bring more guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing about that whole interaction that we've gotten for at least 2 episodes now that I love, because like my biggest concern at the end of the second episode was, he done beat these cops bad. I mean, real bad, and his DNA was at the site. This was not good. But I love the fact that it's just like we come out of it and, no cop is going to admit he got his ass spanked by a blind man.
But at the same time,
and
though,
so
like,
that's the
cops, they
wonderful
need to
stalemate.
Justify why they were there and everything.
Yeah.
And why a blind lawyer would have to attack them in some senses,
It's very very rewarding in a certain sense. I love the way it played out. That I'll give the show credit for, especially since I wasn't here last week. So I'll give them credit for that. But man, I'll tell you, I know that there are 9 episodes after these 9 episodes that will come our way. I'm polishing my lenses, by the way. But because I got fingerprints all over them trying to panically put this thing on real fast. But I swear to God, Christ, guys, pardon my language. I will flip my lid if by the end, if we truly get 2 episodes next week, if he is not in that costume by the end, I don't know what I'll do because I'm not going to melt the helmet. But
he'll
man,
be in the costume at the end scene, and it's going to cut with him just putting it on. That's it. That's all you're going to get.
So here's the thing. Remember how Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we knew it was Sam going toward the mantle of Captain America? Yeah. And then after the last episode, we see him in the suit, and it says at the end, Captain America and the Winter and it changed that
Soldier,
title. What if it's like Daredevil Born Again eventually? Like that's just
I'm surprised this one doesn't have an asterisk on it.
true.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I know it's a petty thing.
No,
But
no.
Juan, do you have some?
I'm with you.
Do you have some insider info? Because I know I've heard other people say as well that we unfortunately are still far off from him, like properly being in the man. But I guess that kind of makes sense too, because there's the threat from Fisk and the city that if you do this, you will be public enemy number one. So I guess that makes sense, but.
Well, I think it makes for great television too, because I mean we got Will over here going crazy if he doesn't put the horns on or not, and people wanting to come to each episode wanting to see if Daredevil or Matt Murdock is going to put on the horns again. And I think we're not going to get that until the end, because we've been seeing so far from the beginning of the episode into what we've got till now, how everything has kind of like is kind of crescendoing into it, if it's the word I'm kind of looking for. It's going to get to the point where, because like, he wants to be Daredevil. He grabs a little horn, he twists it in his hands, in his two fingers. Then we get another episode. He screams, "Ah!" You think he's going to get into the mask again. Then we get to the last episode where he has the batons and he's swinging them around like freaking Michelangelo. Yeah, like Michelangelo. And I think it's like a Voltron that we're building. We're just continuing trying to add these pieces of Daredevil, and we're just going to see more and more. And it's going to be to the end until he actually puts everything on, and Voltron is going to come together.
At some point, he's just going to walk around his apartment with the top half and just underwear on, holding a cup of coffee.
All of the pieces are going to come together like Sailor Moon.
There you go.
Only if we get the transition into the costume.
Yes.
I freely admit I will be disappointed if, in light of all of these things, the only thing that pushes him to get into the costume is that like Muse has his girlfriend, which is what I'm predicting.
Yeah,
it's just like that's the only thing that's gonna happen, and that's gonna be the thing that pushes him, because what's more noble than doing it for love, right?
Yeah.
Cue the violence.
I mean, speaking of love, watch as like the first time he puts on the suit is because he's sleeping with his girlfriend, not to go out and fight crime, but like she finds out, she's like, "Oh yeah, no, just put on the costume. I got like a role play thing I want to try."
There you go. I'm all for it.
Will that be okay?
Why do you think I have the helmet, guy?
Johnny, what you do in closed doors is not something you should be sharing.
I don't have the suit, sadly.
So one other thing that I have a thought of is why I think it's more Kingpin's right-hand man that is the Muse, is because if you know anything about the Muse is like all into art, into murals and all this. He's very sophisticated in his way, but very demented and demonic in a sense. So bringing that first character out with the curly hair saying that I really need help, I think that's just a shell game. Like I said, it's a distraction. And the guy that we see, he's all nice, got a nice freaking suit on with a nice tie and everything, and he's very eloquent and everything. I think that is who our Muse is, because he's doing everything so eloquently, so precise. And yes, Matt Murdock's little girlfriend's got to go, and that's really what's going to push Matt Murdock over the edge, and he's going to snap and be Daredevil again. It's probably not going to be until the end.
That's a good concept, because if you think about it, like we're automatically assuming that the kid that we saw at the book signing or at the get together was Muse because of his interaction with the psychiatrist. But we know that this other guy, Fisk's right hand man, has interaction with her, because at the same time, like she had to sign the NDA and everything else, and there's that potential. Because I mean, Fisk knew she was going to ask Vanessa if she felt safe in the relationship, which means there are things that are in play that maybe Fisk doesn't mind because he thinks that's natural and everything else. But those that are observing around him, because like Vanessa sent the one to go make the other, we've already seen him deal with the underlings saying, you owe him 1.8 and everything else. And there's that engagement. We don't know specifically who it is that, posed as Punisher to take out Hector Ayala. It could very well be all one and the same, because when we got to that point where Matt was talking to the police officer, we heard him in his breathing and his heart rate, and it didn't change. So the guy is not hiding. He's not lying. And so
not that guy.
About that. No, he's not lying about that. He didn't kill Hector, but at the same time, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, there's a lot of little pieces in play, and they are pointing back. And I think you won me over on that opinion. That it might be his underling, and we're just getting a misdirect. Just like I hope we're going to.
I don't know,
Robert Downey
Tony.
Jr.
I'm telling you right now, one of the things in entertainment, you don't show a bomb without there being an explosion. You don't spend unnecessary screen time on an awkward, weird guy talking to the psychiatrist. Enough said.
Yes, but I did think about this, because when I went to the comic book store recently on Wednesday, I noticed that there was a new Daredevil comic out called Daredevil Unleash Hell with the Elektra Daredevil, and with her was a female version of Muse. And I'm just shooting the shit here, and I was talking to my friends, but I'm like, how interesting would it be if Muse was actually Matt's new girlfriend? Just saying.
Ooh.
And then at some point we see the guy who goes up
that's
to
one
her,
hell of a weird
and
therapy
then
method.
he's Muse's next victim.
If we're just going to throw out wild crap, let's go ahead and go for it. Here's a plausible that kind of goes against what you were thinking, Will. We saw the kid. The kid was talking to the psychiatrist, counselor, therapist, whatever we'll call her. We think he's Muse. What if he ends up walking into the practice, walking in and seeing Fisk, and out of the sake of like preventing people from knowing that they're getting, mental health, evaluations and help, his right-hand man ends up killing him, and he ends up being a victim of Muse. So it would not undo seeing this guy, and it wouldn't be a waste of the character. I'm just saying, Will, are you frozen or are you just ignoring me?
He might. Yeah.
You can tell I'm not frozen, man. Look at the little blinky thing.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm letting you look. I have a problem with talking over people. I'm letting you get your fill. I mean, it's an absolutely absurd, ridiculous statement, but you're free to make whatever you want on your show.
Listen, at this point, listen, there are no ladies here tonight to actually help us be logical. So
right, what's with that?
It.
I'm so disappointed.
I
was hoping Sarah was going to be here so I could talk to her about Semper.
Well, what happened was I told them all that Johnny was coming on. They said nope.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Rude.
Just so you know, Sarah's out of town for 2 weeks. Tony Ann's not feeling well, and Shay had an engagement. So we'll probably get at least Tony Ann and Shay next week, and then Sarah after that. So
I swear it's not because.
Or there wasn't enough John Berthal, and they just didn't want to talk about it.
Fair enough.
Well, listen. Tony Ann only has eyes for Matt.
My whole
Daredevil
thing is,
through and through.
I gotta say, my only problem with John Bernthal is like I'm always just expecting him to say like, "You can't protect her, Rick." I keep expecting that, but it just never happens.
Yeah, it took a long time for me to get past Shane. Like I hated him for the longest time.
There were a couple of Shane lines in this, but
See here, I keep seeing him as the older brother in The Bear right now.
Oh, there you go.
Which is going to be fun for me when I watch Fantastic Four, and I'm just going to keep hearing cousin.
I mean, especially considering they featured the Thing in the kitchen in the first full-blown trailer
with an unchanged voice.
Yeah,
right.
But we're not here to talk about that today.
We'll save that for another episode.
But we really, David, I appreciate you just sitting quietly in the corner. But do you have like any
literally in the corner
big thoughts to share with everything that's like gone on in this episode?
Well, I was just like when all the theories of Muse were going around, I was like, man, what if Tony Soprano Jr. is Muse? No.
Please no. I actually hate the character. I actually want him gone. He's annoying me.
He is definitely going to die with Fisk threatening him, he is going to screw up again.
It'll be
That's
the
for
last
sure.
thing you do.
Yeah, and
By the way, that was an amazing scene just for when he says that, and then the woman that's like always there, part of the like permanent administration, she's just all like,
yeah,
okay.
I was like, am I not here? Am I invisible? What's happening?
there's going to be a serious tipping point for both Matt and Kingpin, probably in the same episode, and the tipping point for Kingpin might be killing that guy.
He better not ride in any more cars with Fisk.
Listen, if he does it, I want BB to record it and like have it out live on a live stream. That would be fantastic. And then of course Matt throws a suit right on right after. Oh,
but I'm with you. That let him die. Let it die.
Let it die. Let
Let
it
it shrivel
shrivel
up
up
and
and die.
Exactly. There's a character you can always tell. It's like when they give an actor direction to where it's like, can you please like be just a bootlicking sycophant that's also incredibly annoying? You can tell they're priming the audience to root for this guy to go down.
Listen, Tony Soprano's son, Kurt Russell's son, like a lot of the like stars kids are not getting good treatment in the MCU.
Oh
Hey,
my
man,
gosh.
Hey, we're about to get John Walker back in Thunderbolts, and I'm sure he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, because nobody asked for him to come back. Let's just talking about punchable faces.
I've been wanting
like
him back.
Kurt
I
Russell's son.
love his character. I have a figure. Wait, there we go.
I have one somewhere too. It's still in the box, and I don't think they're going to take it out.
I have a version of him as Cap, not him in that shitty U.S. soldier one where they didn't
US
get
agent?
the white. Yeah, U.S. agent with the white paint on. They just made him black and red. I have the actual Walmart exclusive one, which was hard to find in Canada.
I think I have that too.
He's probably going to
Somewhere.
spend most of the Thunderbolts getting knocked around, like,
which is like kind of funny.
yeah, no, that's going to be his whole purpose, is getting his ass kicked the entire movie.
He's
I
Well,
just like the scenes in Thunderbolts where it's like Red Guardian's just like, it's a good day to die. He's like, I'd rather not die. Like,
Yeah.
And we're like,
But-
is
but-
that Bucky?
But you guys realize though that in Thunderbolts, like US Agent and Red Guardian are the two that are going to get the most crap kicked out of them because they're the only two that have a variation of the super soldier serum in them. So
And
you know
Bucky.
they can take it. Well, Bucky too, but we already know.
He's
that.
got an arm.
Yeah, and plus
And listen, the arm is fresh and ready to go out of that dishwasher, so we should.
of course
be
it
good.
is.
Hey, he blocked a flipping truck off that arm.
Yeah,
By
he
the
did.
way, I just gotta ask: does Matt Murdock own this building, or did he just make unauthorized modifications at the top of the stairs for the roof access?
I was wondering where that compartment came from. Like, how did you do that?
Didn't
Like,
he
what-
originally
I
have the
think what-
compartment in his apartment though?
Yeah, I think
No,
when
he
he
just kept
walked
it all
in,
in like a little case.
I think when he walked in through that roof access, it's basically like the part on the left, and I'm with you because like the architecture ain't architecturing on this for me.
Look,
But
here's the thing.
okay,
The math ain't mathin'.
thank
yes,
you.
but I
Well,
also
he's
never
on a penthouse, though,
questioned
isn't he?
Ben Affleck having his own little
I was gonna-
secluded area on a roof with like a freaking deprivation tank in there.
I've
He had a
blocked it all out, man.
he had a
If I
whole
didn't
bat
question that,
cave
this
set
will
up.
be fine.
Yeah, he
He had
did.
a bat cave before Ben Affleck became Batman.
Well, maybe we're
You had no
misreading the
questions
situation.
about. Wait, not having questions about Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I had so many questions.
I mean, I had
So many
questions. It
questions.
just
I didn't have any
wasn't for
questions.
that.
I just
It was for
blacked it all
something
out.
else.
Like, who greenlit it? Like, come on.
My,
And then-
my
and then
biggest
who
question is
in-
still who
and
casted
then
Jennifer Garner as
listen,
Elektra
I'm gonna-
and then gave
let-
her her own movie afterwards.
Listen. Let me be toxic for just a moment. Who in their right mind in the DCEU thought after seeing Daredevil it was a great idea to bring Ben Affleck on as Batman?
Zack Snyder.
I disagree with you. I completely agree with that because I feel that Ben Affleck himself, as an actor, and the way he portrayed that role is exactly who he should have been. The mask of Bruce Wayne was charismatic and charming, and the guy under the cowl was just dire and dour. I really But look.
Okay.
You can shit all over Affleck all you want, but honestly speaking,
I prefer not to.
I do love the guy. You know,
I'd rather pour some booze on him and then just see what happens.
I don't know if he's into that kind of thing anyway. But look,
He's a celebrity, I'm sure he is.
I really like Affleck as an actor. Like, especially when you see The Accountant, you can understand how you got to Batman.
Yeah.
Right? I really think you do. Not bringing it up because The Accountant 2 is coming out. And no, I'm not sponsored by them. But look, when it comes down to this particular Daredevil, right? Maybe we misread the situation. Maybe he went to the roof access to go to the next apartment down where he has everything hidden. I don't know. But I just want to see him in the costume. Can we have, like, give me a season 2 again where he's in the costume?
I mean, if you want to talk about costume, Tony, should we talk about some of those set photos that were recently seen?
I purposely avoided them, but I'll be happy to hear you guys describe them.
Well, you're going to see it in a second.
Images.
Oh, bring it on then. Although
he's in the black suit.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, I mean,
it's supposed to be. It's missing the DD for sure, and the red arm wrappings from the Back in Black arc.
Look at Juan and I. We're all getting up in the. And
I was like this earlier. I was like,
but you want to hear something stupid? I've got a prompter, so I'm trying to look at that. But I've got the show on down below here on the big screen. I could have just looked. I'm okay with it, and I'm not surprised that we would see this kind of thing too, given that we saw all of these other helmets as well.
I mean, it's Disney; they gotta sell toys.
That too.
Well, the only problem is, what if that's just Bullseye in the Daredevil costume again?
I love it.
Why do you have to hurt me?
Listen,
damn it! I did not think of that.
I haven't had dinner yet.
Look at that.
I'm just causing emotional
Sorry,
damage.
I'm on delay seeing David on the stream holding up the black outfit. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
No, but I mean, like, honestly, like, story-wise, one of the things that I thought was really interesting about Daredevil Born Again so far, apart from the fact that we really are chomping at the bit to want to see him back in the suit and doing Daredevil-y things, regardless of how wonky, like, that whole baton, like, batarang type thing was in that opening entrance, like that I get they're trying to be more practical, less CGI and everything else. It just kind of looked a little weird, but
I was watching that scene. I'm just like, does he have a mace? What?
Like, it was like batarang, let's go. But literally the thing that I've noticed, we've talked in the last, in the past about MCU shows and their struggle with pacing. Literally every episode that we've seen so far, the next episode could literally just finish the story off. There's not a lot of loose ends. Yes, we want to know who killed Hector Ayala. We want to see Fisk go bad. We want to see Daredevil back in the suit. But honestly, if Marvel wanted to have done it, they could do it in the next episode. It would make sense. Mm-hmm. Because there's been so much buildup and there's been so much, I would say, evolution of the characters that I'm not worried right now with the remaining episodes that we have for the show that they're not going to be able to wrap up the story properly. If anything, it might go a lot slower than I was expecting. But I'm optimistic. I mean, even if that's all we saw of Frank, and then this spurs Frank's special presentation.
Well, exactly that.
I really feel like they've done. I would like to see some reconciliation with Karen Page, but honestly, it doesn't have to happen right now.
No,
it's something far off. She's off on the West Coast. We're okay. Let's just keep moving. Regardless,
she's in San Diego with Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm very much looking forward to season 2 because I think that what we're getting is, for lack of a better term, we're getting the Carrie Fisher in Rise of Jedi or Rise of Skywalker kind of treatment with this, because they shot a lot and they made the unusual decision to go for trial procedural with Daredevil. That's what they were trying.
I would have dug.
I mean, it could have been cool, but now we're working with this odd hodgepodge of two concepts being jammed together. So I think everything that I butt up against is always kind of the trying to fit the square peg in the round hole situation.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
No,
really
I'm-
looking
yeah.
forward to season 2. I feel like with what they're doing and with the kind of the urgency that Marvel has now around trying to demonstrate that they will make television like television now instead of doing mini movies that they're turning into series. I really think that they will pull this off. But at the same time, I'm the same person that said Brave New World had no chance of not being good because Marvel had so much riding on it. And now I'm saying that about
was not
Thunderbolts.
good.
So I sound like certain other people we complain about in society now. I'm constantly moving the goalposts.
I mean, I'm excited for Thunderbolts. That one, despite my hesitancies currently with the MCU, I am very excited for Thunderbolts still.
Are you? Is it because you're like hoping it taps into Guardians vibes in a way?
No, I'm really intrigued. I don't know. It's just like the way they're marketing it right now is like the A24 aspect works really well for me for one. And I'm kind of digging like even like the comedy. Like we're very familiar with MCU comedy. This one doesn't quite feel like your standard MCU comedy, you know?
Yeah.
All
It's a
I
bit,
want,
degrading.
give me more Yelena. That's all I want.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
it's funny. Like, okay, so Hawkeye gave me really big like Die Hard vibes. What I keep trying to figure out what about Thunderbolts Asterisk is really, what it's giving me. And it's giving me like a little bit of Cop Out and Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
I
And
hope
so
so.
Yeah, so I'm kind of feeling like we might get that. And again, that's throwing another Bruce Willis film in the mix of it, But I feel like you've got that. You've got between, the Lethal Weapon group between Cop Out, where there's humor, but there's also this on edge like story between all of them, and there's all that struggle. And I mean, mind you, I'm excited to see Ghost come back. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Taskmaster.
For the looks of it, she's not in it that much, and I'm concerned.
And who Ghost or Taskmaster?
Taskmaster.
I think it's just because we haven't gotten to that point yet. I think either that or they're going to be taken out, which either they have lots of Taskmaster and it's going to really upset a whole bunch of dude bros, and I'm here for it, or they're going to kill her off and it's going to make a bunch of dude bros happy. I don't know, and then we'll get great reviews for the show or the movie. But regardless, I feel like we're getting to a point where Marvel has to kind of balance itself. And I would say this: how many of you guys have seen Electric State so far?
I refuse to.
Does it give you any concern? Now, I was a passable, enjoyable movie for myself. I saw it as well. But you realize it was directed by the Russo brothers and it was written by Marcus and McFeely.
Yeah, which makes me really freaking concerned for Doomsday and Secret Wars now.
I wouldn't. Look right now. Let's just stay in the immediate future, and let's just hope Thunderbolts is more second Suicide Squad than first Suicide Squad. Even though the general plot or the general villain seems to have some serious Suicide Squad 1 vibes.
Okay, but like Sentry's cool, and also even just from the trailers, I like Bob a lot more than what was it, Enchantress and Incubus, one or the other.
If it's
blocked it out.
If it's anything like the What If episode with Red Guardian and Winter Soldier, I'm here for it. That was great.
No, that was actually one of my favorites.
Indeed.
Nothing quite like bonding over communism, especially in this modern age. We're for it.
Yeah, that's really like on the nose for today's day and time. Oh. All right.
Speaking of which, in modern day society, Johnny, I just want to thank you still for speaking to us. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate holding off the booze, and Tony, thanks for not playing the anthem at the beginning.
It's fine because Canadians don't always need piss water. We have our own beer, we have our own spritzers, we make our own wine, and in Vancouver, we don't really drink here. We do other things.
There you go.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. The only anthem that I would have done at the beginning of the show would have been "We Built This City," but that just
if there's any one
in
thing,
fact, you know what we could do? Hey,
Yeah.
we should end on a high note. We should all try to sing together. We built this.
Hell no.
That would be awesome.
I'll tell you what, Tony. You can hear me sing if we ever do karaoke together. David's heard me sing actually.
And he's still here. So we're good.
It's not that bad.
But with that said, okay, Let me just say it with a raise of your hand. Do you think we'll see Daredevil in his suit in this next episode, or
Next episode
in the
or
next
next
two episodes? Because it's going to be
within the
two
next
episodes.
two. Okay, I'll say yes.
I'm gonna be optimistic. I want to. Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. This
Well, like for
this
5
week's
seconds.
this week's was 4, right?
This week was 4, yes.
And
episode
so
4.
by the end, you're saying by the end of Tuesday
Episode
we'll be at
6.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with my hands down still. Was one's hands down because I'm with him.
Yeah. We're not getting
It's not going to be until penultimate. We're going to see him in the costume then, and then he's going to go kick out.
No, it's gonna be the penultimate episode. He's gonna open the trunk, and then it's gonna be the suit. And
Or
episode comes up. Then
he's going to open the suit and it's missing.
because
Open
Bullseye
the
has it
case.
again.
No, next 2 episodes is going to be him holding up his costume and then showing the boots and then done. Because I mean, serious. Because we
could just Smallville that crap.
All pieces.
We're all used to
Yeah,
like
it's
him
pieces.
swooping around it.
and then right at the end, it's Voltron come together.
He's Legoing it. Or what we're going to see is him sitting there, and he's got a red marker. No, wait. And he's like going over all the yellow, right? From the She-Hulk one.
It's
Okay.
it's just gonna be helmet and
But
heart
you can't
heart
see
boxes.
Listen, Matt can do echolocation, everything else. I want to see his coloring job on
Yeah,
we're trying to cover.
exactly.
I just want to see a scene of him on the phone with Luke Jacobson going like, okay, and where was the yellow on the suit? Like
But
the
but here's the thing.
arms and
What
the
are the-
helmet. The helmet.
What are the
too?
odds? He never knows that it's yellow. He doesn't know that they gave him a yellow suit.
I mean, isn't that canonical for why he wore the yellow suit for a while?
Oh man, we're bad
I'm-
people.
Yeah. With
I
that
mean, not as
said-
bad as that dude making fun of
What-
Matt for being
What
blind in jail.
one last thing
Okay.
though.
Okay.
I have to say this. Do you get Sopranos vibes with the therapy sessions?
Mhm.
Tony
Well, but-
Soprano getting therapy sessions and Kingpin getting therapy sessions.
I didn't know
Little
he went
bit.
to therapy. I'm still like I've only ever
Sopranos
seen clips
vibes.
of the show.
That was the whole premise of the show, man.
Yeah,
I just love
And
that they're more forthcoming, not in the therapy sessions. Like there's more conversation when the therapist is nowhere near them.
which defeats the
Yes.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
No,
When
I agree
was,
with you.
when I
man.
was a kid, my dad,
My father.
When I was a yeah, who was it that
When I was a
mentioned that?
boy.
Something like, oh, we got a when I was a boy. We had that one that was a boy moment finally in this one.
my dad taught me lots of
That's
things.
another one off
By
the
the way,
bingo card. Oh, we should
I
do
need
that.
some
Did,
water.
did anyone do a
Water.
bingo card? I
We
want to
should
play
do a
bingo
bingo
with
card
this.
for next season.
That's a boy.
Oh, we should do a bingo card for like Andor season 2. There we go.
When I was a boy, all the kids sung in key.
Oh,
Fun
man.
fact, they had to get random kids throughout the school that didn't know how to sing because the kids sang so well that they had to kick some kids
Oh.
out of the scene and put new kids in there that didn't know how to sing to make it sound out of tune.
That's
Do you
what
know? Do
get
you
for
realize?
overachieving.
Do you now realize that if those kids ever come and watch this episode, they're gonna have really bad self-esteem because now they know they were chosen not for their best qualities.
So okay, so here's the thing.
wait, no, hold on,
It wouldn't
though,
be the
'cause-
first time I made a child cry is the issue.
Interesting confession. Wouldn't really say that in public much, but look,
There's more to it.
it's interesting though because you got to think since they're dealing with kids, they had to have shot them multiple times because you can't suddenly just say, "Wait, stop, cut." All right, let's remove this one, and this one, because that's gonna devastate. That's gonna lead to them having "When I was a boy" stories of their own. So that wouldn't happen. But
Some of them did look bored. You know.
fair
I mean,
enough.
that's just a child. He's like,
I
am I
still
even
wanna
being
hi-
paid for this, Mom?
I still
just-
just want to high five the writers' room for like
I just
having both groups decide that we built this city is the perfect thing to sing for the mayor.
I
And I
actually
will
cannot
say,
stand that song now because
Vincent D'Onofrio in his reaction to it as Kingpin is by far some of my favorite acting in the MCU now. Just the kind of the
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh,
of that. I do love
the
that.
twitch, and the look of like, why did I become mayor? I just someone take me out. Like it was,
As they say, the city never sleeps.
As I say,
I'm just going, where the fuck is Luke Cage?
it's so
at the
good.
club. He's at the club.
Anytime I hear that song now, I'm gonna think of Kingpin sitting down
Nope.
in front of a bunch of
it's in
kids
my
now.
playlist. It's in my
wondering.
playlist, and I have to take it out now.
I was wondering specifically why that song was chosen, because the last time I was in New York City, you go to Times Square, they're playing Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' New York
Yes.
on repeat.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Oh, could you imagine the kids singing that song?
And just being off key.
We built this city.
Or like, in New York.
They're like concrete.
Yes, it's
jungle,
time to-
whipped cream,
time to call it, Tony.
tomatoes.
Wrap it up.
They
Just-
played the wrong lyric.
Rolling around in rickshaw singing "We Built This City."
Oh god, we're gonna look like such tourists.
With that said, thank you guys so much for joining us. We are not going to torture you as much as those kids tortured Wilson Fisk.
No, we'll say
and
that
much
for
longer.
the finale.
Yes, we will be bringing more to you. Again, you can catch us every Saturday night as long as there's new Daredevil shows coming out, 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific. And then tomorrow, if you're interested, we have the TARDIS Talk Show. We are going through Hollow Child and the Doctor Dances.
The empty child.
Empty Child. I'm sorry.
Close
the Empty
enough.
Child. Hey,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
off the top of my head. So
That's
it
close
works.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to say, when you hear that, are you my mummy? You'll feel hollow inside. Regardless, you can catch this also if you like watching this. You can also catch us on podcasts. Just Talking Daredevil, Born Again, with its FanBox. You can find it there. You can also check out this in our website on itsfanbox.com tomorrow, as well as a lot of other things. We have got a Severance show that is in the works, and articles that are coming out, especially one from the guy over here that's coming.
Flag
What?
on the play. You're telling me now that the season finale has dropped, you're like, hey, you know what's a good thing we should put together right now?
The
separate
Severance.
It wasn't
podcast.
me. It was asked for. Listen,
Okay.
if you don't
enough.
understand, we will do any show anybody wants. Even listen, I don't watch Severance. I haven't. I haven't. And it's not
Oh.
because of anything other than I don't normally subscribe to Disney Plus, or not Disney
Apple.
Plus, Apple Plus,
Apple,
Apple
yeah.
TV Plus, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Apple Plus.
The only time I ever signed up for it was to watch the Monarch show. But honestly, anybody can start a show. I don't mind producing them as long as I do have some time to be around my family, because they do exist. And with the Severance show, I'm going to be in the background. I'm not even going to be on screen. Once we get it all figured out, I'm just gonna be back and just making sure stuff happens.
Well,
So
since I Ridley stomped on it, who's hosting?
we don't know yet. It's thanks. Well,
Oh,
she
okay.
she brought it up, but it hasn't actually been like, thank you for okay, guys.
My
good
bad.
night.
I know way too much.
But also there is also some Star Wars stuff in the works.
Andor, David.
Right? Bring it.
So by all means, definitely lots of stuff that's going to be happening. Again, check us out. It's fanbox.com. You can find all that stuff there. Plus, you can find out information about all of these fantastic creators.
I finally uploaded my profile.
Yeah, you were the straggler. You were the weakest link, but that's okay. We're good now.
Hey, I'm not dead. That's the main thing.
And if you have ever thought about getting into content creation, you have thought about wanting to do something different, you want to dip your toe in the idea of journalism or whatever it is, listen, It's FanBox is a creative space. It is a sandbox. It is a soapbox. We're looking for people to make information or crazy crap. It could be a giant Skeletor with a Pac-Man. It doesn't matter what it is. We're looking for interesting stuff, opinion pieces. We are not trying to break news. We are not trying to woo publishers. We are trying to have a good time while promoting the stuff that we love. And that's all that matters. So check us out, itsfanbox.com. If you'd like to know more about how you could be a part of it, go to itsfanbox@gmail.com and shoot us an email. Well, shoot us an email to that location. Don't go there because you won't be able to. Words. But with that said, let's go ahead and go backwards. We'll go ahead and start us. Then we'll go over to Juan. Then we'll go to David. And then we'll go to you guys get the idea. Go for it.
What? Am I rating the episode or telling wherever you can find me? Because it's like,
Where
you
you
see,
can find where we
you
can
see
find
how
you.
I chose @thatWillWilkins? Enough said. Moving on.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Okay. I clearly need to learn.
Oh, my turn.
Juan.
My
Yep.
turn. I'm Juan Reads Comics. I'm Juan Reads Comics on all social media platforms. Also, join me on my journey of trying to read 2,000 comic books in 2025. And also, I do have an article coming out here soon as Tony gives me some feedback on it about top 5 things I wish I would have known about comic books before I got into them.
And Juan, what number are you on right now?
It's complete.
No. I mean, what number are you on right now? For your reading?
I'm on 490 something. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So are you like reading trades and then just counting that as 6? Or you
Yeah,
just counting that as 1?
I'm doing that as well, yes.
Okay, that's at least okay. That I can at least work around. Oh my god.
By the way, Juan, just to demonstrate, boom, followed.
Yes. Nice.
So you picked up one, at least.
Awesome. David, go.
I am Xanatos1138 on all socials, mostly TikTok. I talk about Marvel, Star Wars. My last video was talking about Mara Jade, one of my all-time favorite Star Wars character. Check it out if you want to. And that's it.
And David, aren't you also thinking about possibly changing your username at some point?
I'm toying with it because this is my name literally everywhere. It's been my gamer tag for stuff. Like I just want something that's more of a brand than just me, but I can't really figure it out at the moment.
You can just paint yourself orange maybe, and then that might easily do it.
What the we're not even gonna no, I'm
You're in
I'm
Florida,
good.
it makes sense.
It really doesn't, but go ahead.
We should go Kingpin Light.
Ah, there you go.
All right, Johnny, go.
Y'all can find me at Marvelous Johnny. Then remember that is Marvelous with 2 L's as spelt right here. And yeah, that's because we're Canadian. Or at least I'm Canadian. These guys aren't. They
That's
wish
right.
though.
And if TikTok goes away, you can still find Johnny, even though
You
you
can
won't be able
still
to find the
find
rest
me
of us.
there. Unless I
Yeah.
start working for the government, in which case we're not allowed TikTok on government issued phones.
Yeah, but you'd have your own personal phone still, right?
I would still have my own personal phone, I'm assuming. But at
Okay.
the same time, I hate having more than one phone. I've tried that before.
Hey, listen, I have a phone that I have just sitting around on my desk that I never use, just because I wanted to dabble in Android and I regret buying it. So yeah, that's the thing. So with that said, you guys have a wonderful night. Again, check us out. It's fanbox.com. You can also check out the show anywhere you find your podcasts. Be sure to be on the lookout for some new articles that are coming out, and we will see you guys next time. And yeah, thanks so much for joining. Goodbye, guys.